In October of 2004, 8 members of the Huntington Camera Club took an overseas adventure travel tour of Peru and Ecuador. We started our tour in Lima, the capital of Peru, built in 1565. It has magnificent government buildings and beautiful cathedrals surrounding huge central squares. Lima's National Archaeological Museum contains many artifacts from the Incan period, including these mummies. While much of Lima is impoverished, there are upscale neighborhoods such as Miraflores.
We flew from Lima over the beautiful snow-capped Andes Mountains to Cusco. This city is at an altitude of 11,000 feet and was the Peru of our imagination. The Plaza de Armas was a central meeting place for the townsfolk. At the museum was an incredible example of Inca stonework compared to the crude Spanish building. The gray blocks are the Inca. They fit perfectly without mortar. A local market was a photographer's paradise. Different hats were worn depending on the village they came from. We were attracted and intrigued by the character of the faces of the people, especially the children. Some were in Western dress, but many were in outfits native to the different areas. The children were curious about us and tried to interact, asking to have their photos taken. Older people had character lines and were proud of their heritage. The Inca features were very strong in Cusco itself. The Spanish is seen more in the cities. Quechua is spoken in Peru by the Incas and 13 million people of the Andean region.
Sacsay Woman is the name for a fortress on a hill overlooking the Cusco Valley. The walls of the fortress are laid out in a double zigzag pattern representing the teeth of the puma. Here, the massive size of the walls is clear when you see the people standing in front of them.
We visited a small rural school in the town of Yuncaipata outside of Cusco. We met the teacher and the class. The kids were happy with the school supplies which we brought with us. Teachers in Peru are poorly paid, and some didn't show up for class. Their students just hung around outside.
We left Cusco to begin our journey to Machu Picchu through the Sacred Valley. The bus ride through the Andes from Cusco was breathtaking in more ways than one. Some of these mountains reached 18 to 20,000 feet. When our bus broke down, our guide had us get out and walk to the top of the hill where we were supposed to eat lunch. The kitchen was very primitive by our standards. Running around the floor of the kitchen were these cute little Peruvian guinea pigs. Little did we know that they were the main course.
Machu Picchu means Old Peak. It was discovered only 90 years ago by Yale archaeologist Hiram Bingham. The elevation of Machu Picchu is greater than 8,000 feet and is reachable by shuttle bus traveling over a narrow switchback road. The complex contains palaces, baths, temples, and some 150 houses.
We continued on through the Andes to the ancient village of Pisac. When we arrived, there was a parade in progress. It was an interesting combination of traditional Incan costumes and symbology and Catholic religious traditions. It wound through the streets and ended up at the church. Leaving Peru, we flew to Quito, high in the Andes at 12,000 feet. The cathedral, which is along one side of the square, has unique gargoyles in the shape of the native iguanas. In the morning, we could see the sun rising over the mountains as we prepared to leave for the Galapagos.
From Quito, we flew to the Galapagos Islands, about 600 miles from the coast of Ecuador. Our journey took us to 7 of the approximately 60 islands in the Galapagos. Our boat was Deep Blue, 16-passenger dive boat. We were ferried to and from our ship in Zodiac. Some of the trails were strewn with lava rock.
Marine iguanas are a unique species which exist only in the Galapagos. Land iguanas are more colorful than their marine cousins. Sea lions differ from seals because their ears are external. They lived in harems with one bull. Note the hump on his head. Valley Lightfoot crabs were named for their ability to flitter across the rocks like a dancer.
The Galapagos Islands were once crawling with giant tortoises. On the island of Santa Cruz, tortoises live in harmony with farmers. We were fortunate to visit on one such farm to our delight. On the island of Espanola, you were able to see the waved albatross, which spends 6 months out in the open ocean to come back to breed. We were delighted to see many blue-footed boobies. We were able to photograph them during their comic breeding rituals and antics. Magnificent frigate bird gracefully greeted us. In the frigate colony, we were able to photograph the chicks being fed by their parents. To observe some birds on the rocky shoreline, we had to board zodiacs, making quite a challenge for us to get a sharp picture. Setting sun and a heavy heart, we left the Galapagos Islands.